regime ability to still crack down on people. It's a regime that has shut off our country from the whole world and cut off the internet. As long as this situation maintains, there's no way you can approach it in the sense of normalization. The world needs to understand that this is now an obligation to help the people that have been the first victim of this regime and stay true to the principles of fighting for freedom and democracy and human rights. You cannot have a better example of how direly it's been violated by this regime, and hopefully the world this time is not going to give this regime another chance to survive.
The war has enormous consequences, both in terms of human suffering and damage to the world economy. Is it still worth it?
Look, nobody wants war as a first solution. But again, what is the key responsible element that has brought us to the point of having to have a war going on? It's ultimately the regime itself. Let's not forget that this regime has brought us to a point that made conflict unavoidable. The full responsibility is on the shoulders of this regime. It can pull the plug and it can seize the disease, but it won't. It won't because it had ample opportunity to do that in previous years. Why they haven't done it? It's because, as I said, it's their DNA. It's their nature to continue to be belligerent, to continue to threaten, to continue to destabilize the region. How else are you going to remove them? By sending them postcards? Of course not. They're not going to move voluntarily and rationally. So the only language they understand is force. And in this case, force had to be a military intervention.
We have heard President Trump threatening to destroy the Iranian civilization. What went through your mind when you heard that?
Look, we are a country of over 2,500 years of civilization and culture. We've survived so many different invasions, Arab, Mongol, Turk, and we're still standing as a country. There's nothing that can destroy a civilization so easily. I think those were just words, but I'm not taking those words seriously.
At the beginning, President Trump was clear that he wanted to see a regime change, but that is no longer being discussed. Are you disappointed?
Look, President Trump has been saying many different things and done many different things at the same time. I'm not going to hold every word that he says as a final statement. In fact, right before the air campaign started, there were no talks about a conflict starting, and yet it did. Now they're talking about negotiation. Does that mean that this is the only thing left? We don't know yet. We have to see how it pans out.
You're visiting Sweden next week. Sweden is one of the European